Hi, my name is Martin Phan, Field CTO here for Cloud Casa, and in this demonstration, I'm going to show you how you can perform ad hoc job runs for Velero in Cloud Casa, and also create backup and restore custom resources in Velero through Cloud Casa. Now, if you're just getting started with Cloud Casa for Velero, check out the introductory video in the description below for getting Cloud Casa set up with your Kubernetes clusters that are already running Velero. In Velero, kicking off a backup job requires command line execution, and you can run that with a from schedule argument if you want to run that job multiple times, which gives it a unique name every time it runs. But if you, let's say, want to run an ad hoc job run, you would need to redefine the job and allow it to run again. So for example, you can see I have a backup job that's been running from schedule here called snap backup 7. Now, if I were to go into my command prompt window and try to perform an ad hoc run of that job by just simply trying to recreate it here, I'm going to get an error saying that the backup job already exists. So what we can do in Cloud Casa is we can automatically add this job to a schedule such that it can perform a run once operation and associate it with the original job name. And we can do that just by simply providing a unique or customized name to that job. So with our Cloud Casa UI, what you can do is hover over the job, select Run Now, and select the number of days that you want to retain the job. So let's say I want to retain the job for 5 days. And by clicking run, what this is going to do is it's going to create a new ad hoc instance of that job using the from schedule parameter. So you can actually see that the job is starting with the CC for Cloud Casa prefix and some random 5-character string at the end. And right now it's in a running state. And if I jump back to my command prompt window and issue a backup get, I can see that this job is now in progress with an expiring in 4 days. So there's an offset of 1 in the count based off of the days I want to retain and when this job is going to expire. So this is how we can create an ad hoc run through the Cloud Casa UI while also associating it with the same original job name and something that can pretty much overcome the limitations of that Velero job. And here we can see that the last run instance of that job is associated with the original job name. So that is an ad hoc run. In this next section, we're going to be going through how you can create backup and restore CRs within Cloud Casa for Velero. And one of the nice things about doing or creating a backup job from Cloud Casa is the fact that you can get notification directly from the Cloud Casa server. So if you're already sending alerts to yourself via email, you can get those alerts for your backup and restore jobs that are running within Velero. Now, to define a backup job for Velero in the Cloud Casa UI, all you need to do is click on the Define Backup button here, and you can filter out for those clusters that are just running Velero resources. And I only have one cluster scanned into my enterprise, but I'll select that cluster and click Next. Now, all the options and parameters that you'll define within your job definition have been tweaked just to match the options that are provided within Velero. So for example, here you can select to back up the full cluster or exclude certain namespaces or select individual namespaces, filter based off of the resource types that you want to back up. For example, filter based off of the label selection for the resources that you're looking to back up, and also specify the type of backup that you want to run. If you just want to snapshot persistent volumes, if you want to back up or perform a file system copy operation using Restic or Copia, we can do that in terms of data movement or just simply follow the annotations on your pod. So once you have the selections all defined, you can click Next, and here you're going to find some additional options for automatically included cluster scope resources, selecting a backup storage location that you want your backup job to go to. So these are the backup storage locations that you already defined to your Velero instance, and we're going to catalog that metadata information and bring that back into the Cloud Casa catalog so we know exactly which are the eligible and available backup storage locations. And you also have volume snapshot locations that you can specify here as well. From a scheduling perspective, we're not going to be able to use the policies that you would define within the Cloud Casa UI that you were using for your Cloud Casa backup jobs, but Velero follows more of a cron tab based format, or you can also specify an at every 6 hours, for example, as your backup schedule if you chose to. But at the end, you can define the retention period for how long you want to keep the job. And by default, it's 30 days, but we can specify the retention period here. Add pre and post app hooks. Remember, these are the pre and post scripts that will run before and after your job that will run within the container pod. And finally, we'll just give our backup job a name. So I'll call this Cloud Casa defined job 1. And we have the option to run now, so we can just simply create and run that job. And what's going to happen is we're going to see that job created. If I jump back to my command line, I can query my jobs from Velero. You can see that the custom resource has already been created here within my Velero console, and you can see that it is now in progress with an expiration of 29 days. So that's how you would create a backup custom resource within Velero. Defining a restore job through the Cloud Casa UI is just as simple. What we have here is that backup job that I've run a few times now. And if I mouse over here on the right-hand side, I can select restore. And this is how we can define a restore job just by selecting the recovery point that we want to use for our restore. So I can choose the latest recovery point in this case and click next. And here I can select which namespaces I want to restore. I can restore the entire cluster or exclude specific namespaces. I also have my label and resource type selections here and the ability to restore persistent volumes as well in this restore job. And here is a separate option to include those cluster scope resources as well. Now, one of the nice things and the additional feature that we offer with our restore is we can do a full stack recovery of the custom resources within this Velero cluster, meaning we can create a new cluster on the fly. I've actually linked a video underneath detailing that any to cloud, or what we're now calling full stack recovery. But if you have an existing Velero cluster out there that you want to restore back to, you can select that as well. In this case, we can restore back to our original cluster that we have defined within our enterprise, and then perform transformations on that restore, anything from renaming namespaces, remapping storage classes, overwriting existing resources, etc. Post-restore app hooks are going to be available in the restore as well, so you can add those app hooks here. And then finally, within the summary tab, you can just simply provide your restore job with a name and select the restore button to run that restore. So hopefully you can see the ease with which you can create ad hoc jobs, backup and restore custom resources within Velero using the Cloud Casa UI. And through functionality already native to Cloud Casa, like full stack recovery, email alerting, and role-based access control, Cloud Casa can be that single pane of glass to manage and report on all of your Velero installations throughout your enterprise. So I hope you can give Cloud Casa for Velero a spin in your environment. Cloud Casa for Velero allows you to scan up to 15 worker nodes for free, and it's not going to impact your current Velero setup and configuration. It can be removed just by simply removing the namespace without affecting your ability to perform a restore within Velero. So if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at info@calogicsoftware.com. And I've included my contact information in the description below should you have any questions on what was presented within the demo today. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next video.